Oh my gosh. What in the world is going on at the moment? I want to hop in and give you like a life update because the last week I feel like I've lived a million lives. I have quantum leapt, I've jumped timelines. So much is happening and I want to share it with you. So, are you ready? Here we go. Last week, I got told that our dream house was ours. On the one condition that we had to drive 6 hours down to Devon and confirm that we were happy with it, because I was happy to just go ahead without even seeing the thing in real life. So I'm like, okay, inconvenient, but absolutely, I'll make it happen. Great. That's piece number one. Piece number two, an hour before we're meant to leave for this trip, I get this download that is unignorable, right? And it's a new workshop called Podcast to Profit, which actually is today at 11 o'clock GMT in a few hours. And this is the first workshop I've done in a year. I don't really do these kind of things anymore. And this is just going to be such gold. I'm so lit up by it. I knew straight away that it was the right thing to do because within an hour I had the sales page, I had the messaging, I had people in the DMs like, I want to be like there in the room for this. This is going to be incredible. And it was just like everything flowed, right? It was super, super aligned. Piece number two, we drive down, hit loads and loads of traffic. So it's like, okay, maybe a little sign there. Maybe it's just like the resistance, right? Like the obstacle. This is like the mud that you have to trench through to get to the other side. Think nothing of it. The next day we go and see the house. It's like, yeah, this feels good. Like there were little things that I would have to compromise on, but overall it was like, okay, this feels really good. Really good. Has the garden, has the open plan, has the aesthetics that I'm looking for. So I was like, yeah, okay, we're happy, let's move. We then get home in record time, 3 hours on the way back. So I'm like, yes, okay, great. Get back to more DMs about the Podcast to Profit workshop. Okay, everything's falling into place, right? And then I'm losing track of the days. And then yesterday, I had a realization that the energy that I was bringing to the real and the raw live sales page was not mine. It was not mine. I had fallen into the trap again of it has to portray tangible results. It has to say in no certain terms what you are going to get from being there. And I'm like, hell, this is real and raw. People know real and raw is about the energy. It's about the being. It's about the embodiment. It's about the excitement. It's about the expansion. It's about the expression. It's about the living, breathing, being, walking, talking of who it is that you are and what it is that you stand for. And I was like, I can't see that. I can't feel that from the page. So I revamped it all. I'm like, boom. And then within 5 minutes of doing it, no word of a lie, someone bought their ticket. I like, thank you, universe, a little nod there. Then, I forgot. On Sunday, we decided that Tilly is no longer going back to school. So took her out of the system, something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Didn't realize it was going to happen so quickly, but I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Timelines are jumping. Timelines are collapsing, right? Then yesterday, we had our second day of homeschooling, so I did some work in the morning, she played, and then we went out for like a 2-hour walk around Richmond Park, and I was teaching her about things that we were seeing, so like the trees and the roots and grounding, and then like star signs, she's a Taurus, and like grounding and connecting to the earth. And then we saw this like really beautiful twisted tree, and I was like, look, it looks like yin yang, like one of those parts looked like masculine energy, one part looks like feminine. And then I was explaining what that is, and I was asking her, like, what do you think you have more of? And she thought she had more feminine because she's more playful and expressive and in her feelings. I was like, yeah, completely agree with that. So that was like such a soul-filling day of like our second day of homeschooling. I was like, yes, this feels really good. And then here we get juicy, right? I come home, check my emails, and the first thing that I was looking for was the confirmation from the house, because I hadn't heard the day before, but I know the landlord is in Australia, so like the time difference stuff, so I was like, okay, it could be Tuesday. And basically all I'm waiting for is the paperwork, because I've already been told it's ours. Like I just needed to go down and tell them that I'm happy, it was ours. I get an email saying, we're really sorry, the landlord's decided to go with someone else. And I'm like, huh? Hello, what? Come again? Say what now? first, I'm livid. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like, I just drove down there, like, because you told me it's mine. I wouldn't have gone had I been told it was, like, still up in the air. So at first, I'm, like, in the fields, right? And then I'm like, of course, because that was the perfect house for Claire 2 weeks ago in that last timeline. I'm in a new timeline now. Like, so much has collapsed and quantum leapt over the last 4 or 5 days that house is no longer on this frequency. And I'm like, of freaking course. So the universe obviously has to move things, right? It has to make sure that I get back on track in this new timeline. So it's like, no, we don't, that house is no longer serving us for this timeline. You're meant for something better. Now, right now, as it stands, as I'm recording this and talking to you guys, we have 6 weeks till I have to be out of my house because I moved before I see the results, right? Like, gave him my notice because I'm moving. Don't know where, but we're moving. So now we have 6 weeks. Now, let me tell you, my mum and my eldest, they're like, oh, like they're feeling a bit like stressed, right? They're like, time's of the essence, like we need to just take anything. My mum's like sending me all these houses, bless her. And I'm like, everyone I'm looking at, I'm like, nothing's lighting me up. Now, there are things that I could definitely settle for and compromise on, but that's not how I play. That's not how I move. I don't compromise and I don't settle. I hold the standard and I stay in the belief and I stay in the surrender to knowing that the right thing is going to happen whilst taking the aligned action, right? So the aligned action is continuing to look, continue to make sure that the right thing can find me. Because if I'm not moving, how am I going to see it? So I had a thought this morning. Now, I don't know where this is going to go yet, right? This is literally brain Claire coming at you right now. And it was like, what if we're meant to travel now? What if I've collapsed the timeline so much that that's where we are now? Now, here's the backstory to this, if you don't know this. My plan is in 2 years that we're going to go like travel the world, do world schooling and just go and explore, right? Like my work, I can take anywhere. I mentor, I coach, I create events, like work with speakers. I can do that from anywhere in the world. That's the beauty of having your own business that is by your own design. That's not a problem. My biggest problem is because I've had like my new Invisalign, I have to go back to the orthodontics every month to like have things done. So I have to be in England for that once a month. But here's what landed this morning. If we started traveling now, maybe Europe, I can easily hop back on flights once a month, stay in an Airbnb for a few days, stay at my mum's, whatever, for a few days, and then we go again. And so I'm sitting right now with is this the path? And let me tell you what's holding me back. What's holding me back at the moment is probably mostly my mum, and I don't mean like she's holding me back. I mean, I know she's really excited because we were kind of planning to move closer to her. So I'm like, that will probably break her heart. Not that we wouldn't see her, right? Like we'd probably still see her equally as much as we do now, but there's that in my mind. And then also the whole like, we have 6 weeks now. Is that even long enough to like sell everything and get everything sorted? And I don't know like the laws and the legalities and the logistics. Like I have another business that's obviously registered in the UK. Like I don't know how all of that stuff works. So I'm getting in my head a little bit. Like how would that work? And I don't know if that is the answer right now, but I'm telling you like where I'm at, because this is real and raw, right? Like this is the raw framework in action, sharing what you're navigating right now and how you lead yourself through it. Because then in 6 weeks time, you're going to see where it leads. I don't know yet. And you're going to see how I held myself and how I led myself through that. And you're going to think, wow, what fucking shitload of courage she's got. I want some of that. That's what real and raw is all about. It's not about always having it like, it's not about always having answers, always having the lessons. It's about showing the messy middle as you live it as well, because that is leadership. Anyway, I digress. So the lesson here that I'm in right now is I don't know what the next step is. I don't know where this is going to take me. I don't know if the timeline that I'm meant to be on is so far to what I thought it was originally that I'm now like in resistance, right? I'm now like, I'm not ready for that yet. Like, I don't know if I can do that yet. Like, what if, all of those things. And then I'm also like, oh, that feels really good. That feels really good. So, this is where we're at. A couple hours, I'm going to be doing Podcast to Profit. First workshop I've done in a year. And I have so many DMs from people. People registered, people signed up, people actually requested an affiliate link to share it because it's so amazing. They were like, I know so many people that would want in on this. Like, that is going to be amazing. By the way, it's £97 if you get it today. Even if you don't join us live, you can get that replay. But after today, it goes up to 555. It is going to be easy ROI when you implement. It's like real strategy stuff. It's not about sponsors and downloads and all that kind of thing. Really, like, out of the box, unconventional, completely like, oh wow, it gets to be that easy. You're going to be mind blown by that. Anyway, so that's that. In a couple hours, I'm going to see my best friend this afternoon after her boy finishes school. So that's going to really give me like a sounding board, right? I'm going to be able to be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. She won't have the answers, but it's kind of like when we bounce off someone, this is why I love mentorship. Like, we can get our own answers. We can come to our own conclusions. And sure, we don't have to have that, but it makes it a lot easier. So that's what I'll be doing with her this afternoon. And then, what was the other thing? Yeah, Real and Raw Live. So I had someone yesterday who is in Pittsburgh. Is that how you pronounce it? Pittsburgh. And she was actually on the Empire Summit and we were recording, and she was like, you know what? I'm just going to get my ticket and figure it out later because I want to be in that room. I feel the call, I feel the pull, and I need to just not be in my head and just make it happen, right? And I said to her, I was like, just get the ticket and figure it out later because that's exactly what I'm doing with all of this. I gave him my notice without a house even lined up. Like, we're now 6 weeks away, and it's like, it's all happening for me and not to me. Like, it's all figuring itself out, and my job is to hold the vision and to take aligned action and to stay in the belief, stay in the breakthrough, stay in the embodiment of who I am becoming, of who this new timeline is. And it's the same for anything that you do, right? Whether it's high level mentorship, whether it's flying across the world to an event, whether it's creating your first workshop that you said you would never do again, like whatever it is, when you feel the pull and you feel the desire, it's like, get out of the head, come into the body, come into the feelings, come into the being of it. Like, put yourself at the end and be like, yeah, that felt really good. And that's all you have to do. Like, that's all you have to do. And then the rest will figure itself out when you surrender and you stop trying to control how it's all going to pan out, how it's going to translate, what results you may or may not have. It's not about the end results. It's about who you're becoming through the process. And that, if anything, is what I have been like really, really given by the universe with this. It's not about what house I end up in or whether we travel or whatever that is. It's about who I've become through this process. Like, the amount of surrender, the amount of trust, the amount of belief, the amount of action that I've taken and that I've had. And also the speed, right? Like, as soon as I was like, I want to move, we took action like that. I say we, like I took action like that. There was no more sitting around and waiting. It's like, when you feel the pull, you go. I had the download for Podcast to Profit within an hour. I had the sales page made. I had DMs sent out. I had DMs come in. Like, it was fast action with Real and Raw Life. I went to that Tantra event the next day. I was like, I'm ready. I made the sales page. I brought it into life. I started talking about it. Action, speed, quick. Because it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It gets to be messy because you evolve and it gets more honed over the time, right? Like yesterday, I just revamped the sales page for Real and Raw Life because it was it was messy, but it wasn't, I don't even like the word right? But it didn't feel like the energy that I'm now in. And I wanted it to feel that. I wanted anyone who didn't know me and didn't know Real and Raw to look at it and be like, oh, I want in on that. Like, that feels like it's going to be expansive. It feels like it's going to be the energy that I want to be around. It feels like I'm going to embody another level of myself, a real and raw version of myself from that space and from that place and from that day. That's what I wanted people to feel. So let me know in the comments, by the way, if you feel that from the new page, because that's the aim. I want everyone to be like, yes, I want to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to make it happen. So this is one of those lives that you can look back on in whatever it is, right? 6 weeks time, 6 months time, and you'll be able to see in real time my evolution, how I hold my standards, how I lead myself, how I allow myself to be human, to be in the mess, to feel all the feelings, and to continue to move anyway. This is what Real and Raw leadership is all about. It's not about not having fear. It's not about not having doubts, not having worries, not having like the whole what ifs. We all get those. We're human, right? It doesn't matter what money's in your bank. We all have those feelings. But sharing them, firstly, is the thing that bridges the gap. It removes the distance between you and your clients, and it shows them, look, I have all of this shit too. Like, I'm a human just like you. But watch how I lead myself. Watch how I share my journey. Watch how I create a movie of my own life that people are invested in because they're invested in me and in my storyline and in my character, which isn't a character, it's just truly, authentically you. But that's when they can't stop binge watching you. That's when they talk about you to everyone like, oh my God, did you see what she's doing? Did you see how she's doing this? Like, you need to go and watch that. You need to go and be part of her world. This is how we build hype, but also lifelong clients, right? I mean hype as in like, you know, Love is Blind, like reality TV has hype around it because we're invested in the characters, because they're real people, And that's why we're so much more invested in it. We're so much more like, oh my God, like you need to get with them, or like, no, don't go near him, you know? Because we care about them. And we want them to win. And this is what happens when you share in the real and the raw way. And you peel back the curtains and you remove all the smoke and the mirrors and you show your heart. And people connect to your soul and they feel who you are. And they want to be side by side with you because they've seen how you lead yourself. And they know that you can help them become that leader too. Right? It's not about followers. It's about leaders. Because we're here to shape a new paradigm, a new generation of leaders. We're here to break cycles. We're here to break generational traumas. We're here to change all of that and to birth anew and to leave the world better than what we found it. And the only way that we can do that is by being the change we want to see first. Showing that, holding that standard, and lifting others up to be on that timeline as well, to be on that frequency as well, so that they can also lead in that way. Oh, this feels good. I feel like I want to dance today. This morning I did this new prana breath work, and then I don't even know what you called it. I did this like, so good. I'm so delusionally hyped up at the moment. Like, can you feel this new energy, this new timeline that I'm in? It feels like insatiable. It feels like, like honestly, I feel like in love with myself. I'm like, I just want to like make out of myself in the craziest way, because it feels so juicy. It feels so alive. That's the word, alive. That, something just landed then. I started to feel more alive. It's like I'm living. I'm not waiting to live anymore. I'm living now. Oh my God, that feels good. Did you feel that? I'm so excited. Do you know what? I'm so excited to see where this path takes me. Because I'm like, I don't know, right? I don't know either. And who knows? The universe knows. I don't know yet. And I'm so here for it, and I'm so open to it. And whatever it is, I know it's going to be for me and not to me. It's going to be for my highest good, for this new timeline, for the evolution of real and raw. And I'm so pumped for this. So your calls to action, podcast to profit. If you've got a podcast, or if you want to start a podcast and you don't make money from it, like, we need to turn that passion into some hard cash on the back end, right? Because your gift should be paid for. Your heart should be paid for, because the more money we make, the more impact we create on the back of it. It's a tool, it's a resource that we can then go and do good with. So get in on that now. You've got like 2 hours while it's still £97, then it goes up to £555. If you can't join us live, don't worry, you get the replay, but after it's been live, you're paying full price, because it is gold. And even if you pay full price, you are going to get ROI, like, with one guest on the back of that. It's going to be incredible. Make sure you go and get that now. Your next call to action is Real and Raw Live, baby. Like, what are you doing? If you haven't got your ticket yet, people are flying from Phoenix. Actually, I didn't even know that. She told me this morning, she's like, I'm flying from Phoenix, you know, with her daughter, who's like 21. We've got people flying from Pittsburgh, from California, from Canada, from Europe, all over the world, because they feel the energy of real and raw, because they know this is something that they stand for, because they know this is who they are, and they know the expansion that they're going to have in that room with other women who also speak their truth, who share their voice, who stand for the embodiment of what it is that they stand for. Get your ticket now. They are $129 until April. Early bird is limited time only. Get it now. And if you want to speak, sponsor, hit me up in the DMs. We can chat about that. There are still a couple of opportunities. I've got hair bugging me. But we only have 10 weeks now. So make sure that you get that book. If you want to bring your girls and make a whole weekend of it, we have group discounts for over 6 people. Again, DM me to chat about that. Also, partner affiliate opportunity. Once you've got your ticket, you can sign up to be a partner. There are loads of amazing prizes to win on the back of that, like free accommodation, free tickets for people, like mastermind, VIPs, so much stuff. That is going to be like so much fun to do as well. So all the things, I would love to hear in the comments, in the DMs, how this landed for you. What you're taking away from how I lead myself, from how I share my journey, from how I show you what real and raw is all about. Like, I am the walking, talking, living, breathing embodiment of what it is that I stand for. And this is what I help you do, right? Show what it is that you stand for, not just teach what it is that you stand for. And that's when you become the only option for your people, because they are immersed, invested, and mesmerized by every single move that you make, because they don't know where it's going to take you, but they sure as hell know that you are going to hold the standard and show them what kind of leader they can be as well. On that note, if you are like, Claire, you are my person, I want to be in this like every single day and have you in my back pocket, because I know who I would become with you right beside me, leading side by side on that battlefield together, showing everyone who we are and what we're capable of and what is possible. Even with a minority army, like, we can conquer and we can create and we can bring community and collaboration and camaraderie together. This is how we create change. Then my one-to-one is for you. This is a close proximity, high level space, and it is only for the woman who is just like, I already know that you're my person. I already know who I would become alongside you. Give me the deets, because I want to do 2025 with you in my corner. You can DM me about that as well. I'm going to go and prep for Podcast to Profit. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you get that as well. And let's go do all the things. Mwah. Love ya.